Have you ever grabbed leftovers from your refrigerator, heated them up in the microwave, and thought you were making a smart, time-saving choice? What if I told you that some of those reheated foods could quietly harm your body, potentially increasing your risk of cancer, digestive problems, and even brain damage? Today, we're exploring 5 everyday foods that medical experts and nutritionists strongly warn should never be reheated because they can become toxic. These are familiar foods sitting in your kitchen right now, foods you probably consider healthy choices. But scientific research reveals how reheating them can create dangerous compounds linked to serious, long-term health consequences. Stay with us until the end to discover not only which foods to avoid reheating, but also the compelling scientific evidence behind these warnings, so you can make informed decisions that protect your health and help you thrive in your golden years. Before we dive in, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that like button to help us continue sharing these important health insights. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you won't miss any of our videos. If you find this information valuable, please comment helpful below. If something doesn't resonate with you, comment unclear so we can improve our content for you. Now, let's explore these hidden kitchen dangers together. Food number 1. Reheating spinach unleashes toxic compounds. Spinach stands as one of America's most beloved leafy greens, showing up everywhere from smoothie bars in California to southern dinner tables. Whether you're adding it to your morning smoothie, sautéing it with garlic as a side dish, layering it into lasagna, or tossing it into a fresh salad, this nutritional powerhouse has earned its place as a kitchen staple, loaded with vitamins A, C, and K, plus iron and powerful antioxidants. Spinach seems like the perfect choice for anyone focused on maintaining their health as they age. However, there's a hidden danger lurking in one of our most common kitchen habits: reheating cooked spinach. This seemingly innocent practice can transform this superfood into a potential health threat that may silently undermine your well-being over time. The issue centers on spinach's naturally high nitrate content in their original form. These nitrates are actually beneficial, supporting healthy blood circulation, helping to lower blood pressure, and even boosting exercise performance. Research published in respected medical journals confirms these positive effects. But here's where things take a dangerous turn. When you cook spinach, store it in your refrigerator, especially for several days, and then reheat it, particularly using a microwave or high heat. A harmful chemical transformation begins to occur. Those beneficial nitrates start breaking down into nitrites, and these nitrites can further convert into compounds called nitrosamines. These nitrosamines are what medical researchers call carcinogenic, meaning they have the potential to cause cancer. This isn't just theoretical concern. Studies conducted by the World Health Organization and the National Cancer Institute have established clear links between nitrosamine exposure and increased cancer risks, particularly cancers affecting your digestive system like stomach and colorectal cancer. Even more troubling, emerging research suggests these compounds may contribute to brain damage, potentially accelerating cognitive decline and playing a role in neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia. The transformation from helpful nitrates to harmful nitrosamines happens invisibly. You can't see, smell, or taste the difference, making this a particularly insidious risk for anyone unaware of the science behind it. This concern becomes especially critical for older adults, whose bodies naturally become more vulnerable to environmental and dietary toxins. As we age, our cellular repair systems slow down, and our bodies become less efficient at eliminating harmful substances. What might have been easily handled by a younger immune system can have more significant impact on a body in its 60s, 70s, or beyond. Consider this common scenario. Margaret from Phoenix prepares a large pot of spinach and white bean soup on Sunday, planning to enjoy it throughout the week. On Wednesday, she reheats a bowl in her microwave for lunch. The soup tastes perfectly fine, but the reheated spinach may now contain nitrosamines that form during storage and reheating. Over weeks and months of repeating this pattern, these harmful compounds can accumulate in her system, potentially contributing to health risks that develop silently over time. The solution isn't to eliminate spinach from your diet completely. Fresh spinach remains one of the healthiest foods you can eat. Instead, we need to adopt smarter preparation strategies. When possible, consume spinach fresh or lightly cooked and eaten immediately. If you've prepared a dish containing spinach, try enjoying leftovers cold, perhaps in a spinach salad or chilled soup, avoiding the reheating process altogether. If you absolutely must reheat spinach dishes, do so gently using low heat on your stovetop rather than a microwave, and never reheat the same portion multiple times. Store spinach-containing dishes in your refrigerator immediately after cooking and consume them within 1 to 2 days to minimize nitrate breakdown. Please comment one below if you're finding these insights helpful and you're following along with us. Food number 2. Reheated potatoes harbor hidden bacterial dangers. Potatoes represent the heart of American comfort food. Cherished from Maine's loaded baked potatoes to Idaho's famous russets to Louisiana's creamy mashed potatoes with gravy, whether you prefer them baked with a crispy skin, mashed with butter and cream, roasted with herbs, or simmered in a hearty beef stew, potatoes provide affordability, versatility, and that satisfying feeling that comes with a well-prepared meal. However, a lesser-known but serious risk emerges when potatoes are cooked, cooled, stored, and then reheated. A practice that occurs in kitchens across America every single day. When you first cook potatoes, their starches break down into a soft, easily digestible form that your body processes without difficulty. But as those cooked potatoes cool, particularly if they're left at room temperature for extended periods or stored in the refrigerator for too long, these starches undergo a process called retrogradation. They transform into what scientists call resistant starch. Now, resistant starch can actually provide health benefits when consumed in moderation, acting as a prebiotic that supports gut health and helps regulate blood sugar levels. Medical research published in nutrition journals confirms these positive effects. But problems arise when these cooled potatoes are reheated, especially using high-heat methods like microwaving or uneven reheating techniques. The primary danger with reheated potatoes lies in their potential to harbor a particularly harmful bacteria called Clostridium botulinum, the organism responsible for botulism poisoning. This risk becomes especially high when potatoes are cooked, wrapped in aluminum foil which creates an oxygen-poor environment, and then allowed to cool slowly at room temperature before being stored. These conditions create an ideal breeding ground for this dangerous bacteria, which thrives in low oxygen, starchy environments. Here's what makes this particularly insidious. Even when potatoes don't smell bad or appear spoiled, Clostridium botulinum can produce neurotoxins that are completely odorless, tasteless, and invisible to the naked eye. These toxins can cause severe illness, including symptoms like nausea, dizziness, difficulty swallowing, and in serious cases, neurological complications that can be life-threatening. For older adults, this risk becomes especially concerning. Aging naturally brings a decline in immune system function and digestive efficiency, making your body less equipped to fight off bacterial toxins. Additionally, emerging medical research on the gut-brain connection reveals how intestinal health directly influences cognitive function. Chronic inflammation caused by harmful bacteria or their toxins in your digestive system has been linked to increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases, including Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. Let's imagine a typical scenario. Robert from Tampa bakes a tray of russet potatoes for Sunday dinner, wraps the extras in foil, and stores them in his refrigerator. 3 days later, he reheats them in his microwave for a quick side dish. While this seems convenient and practical, this common practice could introduce low levels of bacterial toxins into his system, with repeated exposure over months and years. These toxins may contribute to systemic inflammation that quietly impacts both physical and mental health. To enjoy potatoes safely while minimizing these risks, follow these important guidelines. First, whenever possible, Cook only the amount of potatoes you plan to eat fresh. If you must store leftovers, cool them quickly and store them in airtight glass containers, never in foil. In your refrigerator to slow bacterial growth, when reheating becomes necessary, use your stovetop or oven to ensure even heating throughout, and avoid reheating the same potatoes more than once. If leftover potatoes have been sitting in your refrigerator for more than 2 days, or if they show any signs of spoilage, err on the side of caution and discard them. Potatoes can absolutely remain a nutritious and delicious part of your diet when prepared and handled with proper care. By staying mindful of how you store and reheat them, you minimize risks while maximizing their nutritional benefits. Food number 3. Reheated eggs create inflammatory compounds. Eggs hold a special place in American kitchens, from the classic breakfast diners of New York to the ranch-style kitchens of Texas. Whether scrambled with cheese, hard-boiled for a protein-packed snack, whipped into a fluffy omelet, or baked into a hearty casserole, eggs provide affordable nutrition that's hard to beat. They're packed with essential nutrients like choline, which supports brain health, and contain high-quality protein necessary for maintaining muscle mass as we age. However, a widespread habit, reheating already cooked eggs, especially using a microwave or high temperatures, can transform this wholesome food into something that poses subtle but potentially significant health risks over time. When eggs are initially cooked, their proteins undergo a natural process called denaturation, where they unfold and reconfigure into forms that your digestive system can easily process. This is completely normal and beneficial. But when you reheat those already cooked eggs, particularly using uneven or intense heat, additional chemical changes occur that can compromise both their safety and nutritional value. Two major concerns arise from this reheating process. First, sulfur compounds naturally present in eggs begin to degrade, producing that characteristic rubbery texture and unpleasant sulfurous smell you might have noticed in reheated scrambled eggs. More seriously, the cholesterol in egg yolks undergoes oxidation when exposed to repeated heating, especially at high temperatures. This cholesterol oxidation creates compounds called oxysterols, which medical research has directly linked to increased inflammation throughout your body and higher risk of cardiovascular disease. Studies published in respected journals like Lipid Research confirm these connections. Chronic inflammation, in turn, acts as a major contributor to cognitive decline, memory problems, and neurodegenerative conditions like dementia. As documented in research from neurology journals, older adults face particular vulnerability to these effects. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at processing fats and cholesterol. Our arteries lose flexibility, and our brains become more sensitive to inflammatory compounds. This means dietary habits that might seem minor, like reheating yesterday's scrambled eggs for breakfast, can have disproportionate consequences that accumulate over time. Here's a practical example. Susan from Denver hard-boils a dozen eggs on Sunday evening, planning to eat them as quick breakfast throughout the week. On Thursday morning, she microwaves one to warm it up before heading to her morning walk. While this seems like a sensible, protein-rich choice, the egg's proteins have become tougher and less digestible, and its cholesterol may have oxidized, introducing inflammatory compounds into her system. Repeated over months and years, this habit could contribute to the kind of systemic inflammation that quietly undermines overall health and cognitive function. To minimize these risks while still enjoying eggs' nutritional benefits, focus on eating them fresh or shortly after cooking whenever possible. If you like to batch cook eggs for convenience, consider enjoying them cold in salads, sandwiches, or as chilled snacks rather than reheating them. When reheating becomes absolutely necessary, use gentle, even heat from your stovetop on low temperature, and avoid multiple rounds of heating the same eggs. Store cooked eggs in your refrigerator promptly and consume them within 2 to 3 days to maintain quality and safety. If an egg smells off, appears discolored, or has been stored longer than recommended, it's always better to discard it rather than risk potential problems. Remember, eggs remain a nutritional powerhouse when prepared and handled thoughtfully. By making small adjustments to how you store and consume them, you can continue enjoying their benefits while protecting yourself from unnecessary risks. Please comment 3 below if you're still with us and finding this information useful. Food number 4, reheated chicken triggers. Silent inflammation. Chicken has earned its place as America's most popular protein, gracing tables from busy family kitchens in Ohio to elegant restaurants in California. Celebrated for its versatility, affordability, and reputation as a lean, healthy protein source, chicken appears in countless meals. Many of us cook chicken in large batches, storing leftovers for quick meals throughout the week. It's practical, saves time, and seems like an intelligent approach to meal planning. But here's something that might surprise you. Reheating chicken, particularly using methods like microwaving or high-heat oven reheating, can subtly alter its composition in ways that may promote inflammation, cause digestive discomfort, and contribute to long-term health concerns that develop gradually over time. When you initially cook chicken, heat transforms its protein structure in beneficial ways, making it more digestible and accessible to your body. The proteins denature properly, breaking down into forms that your stomach and intestines can process efficiently. However, when you reheat that same chicken, especially if the process involves uneven heating, as commonly occurs in microwave ovens, or if temperatures become excessively high, those proteins undergo a second round of structural changes. This additional heating can cause proteins to become significantly tougher, more rigid, and less bioavailable, meaning your digestive system must work much harder to break them down. For younger people with robust digestive systems, this increased difficulty might not be immediately noticeable, but as we age, our production of digestive enzymes and stomach acid naturally declines, making it increasingly challenging to process foods that were once easy to handle. The result often manifests as bloating, abdominal discomfort, or a general feeling of sluggishness after eating reheated chicken, symptoms you might experience without connecting them to the reheating process. The impact extends far beyond simple digestion, though, and this is where health implications become more serious. Research in nutritional science demonstrates that reheating proteins like chicken can lead to formation of compounds that trigger low-grade systemic inflammation throughout your body. These compounds, including what scientists call advanced glycation end products or AGEs, form when proteins and fats undergo repeated exposure to high heat. AGEs represent much more than a minor dietary inconvenience. Medical research has established clear links between these compounds and chronic inflammation, which current science recognizes as a root cause of numerous serious health conditions. This inflammation doesn't just manifest as obvious symptoms like joint pain or visible swelling. Instead, it operates as a silent driver of conditions like heart disease, insulin resistance, and neurodegenerative disorders, including Alzheimer's disease and various forms of dementia. Over extended periods, the cumulative effect of consuming foods that promote inflammation, even in seemingly small amounts, can gradually wear down your body's natural resilience, leaving you increasingly vulnerable to age-related diseases and cognitive decline. Consider this relatable scenario. Every Sunday, Dorothy from Atlanta prepares several chicken breasts for the week ahead, storing them properly in her refrigerator. On Wednesday, she reheats a portion in her microwave for lunch. She notices the chicken has developed a somewhat rubbery texture and perhaps a slightly different flavor than when freshly cooked. But she dismisses this as normal. What Dorothy might not realize is that these textural and flavor changes reflect deeper chemical alterations in the food itself. The proteins have endured a second round of heat-induced damage, creating a product that's not only less palatable, but also significantly harder for her digestive system to process effectively. This places subtle but real strain on her digestive system, which over months and years can cascade into stress on her immune system and even impact her nervous system function. This concern becomes particularly critical for older adults who may already be managing inflammation-related challenges like arthritis, high blood pressure, or the cognitive fog that many experience as they age. To minimize these risks while still enjoying chicken's nutritional benefits, consider how you approach reheating leftovers. If you must reheat chicken, do so gently using low-temperature oven methods or stovetop techniques that preserve protein structure better than microwave heating. Even better, try incorporating leftover chicken into cold preparations like salads, wraps, or sandwiches where reheating becomes unnecessary. Another effective strategy involves cooking smaller portions of chicken to consume fresh, reducing your need for storage and reheating altogether. These adjustments might seem minor, but they accumulate into significant health benefits over time, especially as your body becomes more sensitive to dietary stressors with advancing age. Food number 5. Mushrooms lose their nutritional balance. When reheated, mushrooms represent one of nature's most remarkable foods. Beloved across America, from the cremini mushrooms in Chicago's Italian restaurants to the shiitake varieties popular in California's health-conscious communities. Packed with antioxidants, fiber, B vitamins, and immune-supporting compounds called beta-glucans, mushrooms offer impressive health benefits including heart protection, immune system support, and even cancer-fighting properties. Whether you're sautéing button mushrooms, grilling portobello caps, or simmering shiitakes in soup, mushrooms bring unique depth and nutrition to countless dishes. However, there's an important characteristic about mushrooms that sets them apart from most other vegetables. They're extremely sensitive to reheating, and this sensitivity affects not just their taste and texture, but also how your body responds to them. Unlike most vegetables, mushrooms possess a unique composition that includes complex proteins, active enzymes, and delicate fats. When you cook them fresh, these components break down in a controlled, beneficial way, releasing their distinctive flavors and making their nutrients more accessible to your digestive system. However, when you reheat mushrooms, especially multiple times or using high-heat methods like microwaving, their delicate structure undergoes additional degradation. The proteins and enzymes break down into less digestible forms, which can lead to digestive discomfort, including bloating, gas, or that heavy, sluggish feeling some people experience after eating. This becomes particularly problematic for older adults whose digestive systems may already be functioning less efficiently due to age-related declines in enzyme production and overall gut motility. The concerns with reheated mushrooms extend beyond simple digestion and touch on a more fundamental health issue called oxidative stress. When mushrooms are improperly stored, for example in plastic containers where moisture accumulates, or reheated unevenly, their proteins and fats can undergo oxidation, forming compounds that contribute to cellular damage throughout your body. Oxidative stress plays a key role in aging and chronic disease development, driving inflammation and increasing risk of conditions like cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, and neurodegenerative disorders. Scientific studies demonstrate that oxidized compounds in food can worsen this stress, placing additional burden on your body's natural antioxidant defense systems. For seniors or anyone managing chronic health conditions, this added oxidative stress can manifest in various ways, including persistent fatigue, mental fog, or weakened immune response that makes you more susceptible to illness. Let's consider a practical example that might feel familiar. James from Seattle prepares a delicious mushroom risotto for dinner, rich with cremini and oyster mushrooms combined with arborio rice and herbs. It's a comforting, nutrient-dense meal that he enjoys thoroughly. He stores the generous leftovers in his refrigerator, and the next evening reheats a portion in his microwave. Immediately, James notices the mushrooms have lost their original texture and appeal. They've become chewy, slightly slimy, or developed a muted, off-putting flavor that wasn't present in the fresh preparation. These sensory changes represent more than just culinary disappointment. They're indicators that the mushroom's proteins and fats have undergone chemical changes that make them less nutritious and potentially more problematic for his digestive system. The texture change in reheated mushrooms provides valuable information about what's happening on a molecular level. Freshly cooked mushrooms maintain a satisfying, tender texture with robust flavor. After reheating, they often become rubbery, watery, or overly soft, signaling loss of structural integrity that affects both nutritional value and digestibility. To minimize these risks while still enjoying mushrooms' considerable health benefits, handle them with extra care. If you have leftover cooked mushrooms, store them in sealed glass containers in your refrigerator to prevent moisture buildup that accelerates spoilage and oxidation. When reheating becomes necessary, choose gentle methods like low-heat stove-top warming to preserve as much original structure as possible. Even better, consider enjoying leftover mushrooms without reheating at all. They can be delicious when added cold to salads with olive oil, fresh lemon juice, and herbs. When cooking mushrooms, try preparing only what you'll consume in one meal to avoid storage and reheating challenges altogether. Please comment 5 below to let us know you're following along and finding these insights valuable. Protecting your health through mindful kitchen choices. As we conclude today's exploration of these hidden kitchen dangers, I want to thank you for investing your time in learning about these important health insights. Take a moment to consider what has surprised you most in our discussion today. Perhaps it was discovering the dangers lurking in reheated spinach, the bacterial risks hiding in seemingly innocent leftover potatoes, or learning how something as routine as reheating scrambled eggs could impact your long-term health and cognitive function. These revelations might feel overwhelming at first, but I encourage you to view them as empowering knowledge that puts you in control of your health destiny. Small changes in how we handle food can create significant improvements in how we feel, think, and age. Every time you choose to eat spinach fresh instead of reheated, enjoy cold chicken in a salad rather than microwaving it, or prepare eggs fresh each morning, you're making an investment in your future vitality. The science behind food chemistry might seem complex, but the practical solutions are remarkably simple. Store foods properly in glass containers rather than plastic. Cool cooked foods quickly and refrigerate them promptly. Use gentle reheating methods when necessary, and avoid reheating the same foods multiple times. When possible, embrace cold preparations that eliminate reheating risks entirely. Remember that these dietary adjustments work especially well for older adults who want to maintain their energy, preserve their cognitive sharpness, and support their immune systems. Your body has served you well for decades, and it deserves the respect that comes with mindful food choices. We'd love to hear about your experiences and plans moving forward. Please share in the comments below which food reheating revelation surprised you most, and tell us about one specific change you plan to implement in your kitchen this week. Your insights and questions help us create content that truly serves your needs and interests. If you found this information valuable, please take a moment to like this video and share it with family members or friends who might benefit from these insights. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more evidence-based health information designed specifically for your life stage. Your engagement helps us continue bringing you the kind of practical, science-backed guidance that can make a real difference in your daily life and long-term well-being. Thank you for joining us today, and remember that every small step toward better health is a victory worth celebrating. We look forward to seeing you in our next video, where we'll continue exploring ways to help you live your healthiest, most vibrant life.